Well, you could have come. You could have back here in the corner someplace without your mask.
Now I'm talking to you guys.
Think about all that you think about.
You're the meeting guys.
People ask me what it's like.
I mean, you get from China. My president says
Yeah, sorry. Between my junior, I was NROTC. I did not go to trains to them.
I went to Korea.
Take that for new cornea. Thank you. Cornea transplanted.
We dedicate the meeting to our brothers still on eternal patrol, to perpetuate the memory of our shipmates who gave their lives in the pursuit of their duties while serving their country, that their dedication, deeds, and supreme sacrifice may be a greater constant source of motivation toward greater accomplishments, and to pledge loyalty and patriotism to the United States of America and its Constitution. A moment of silence, please. Chaplain?
Let us pray. Memories and relationship we have with each other. We ask that you guide us through this path we call a lifetime. Bring us closer to you as we grow. We ask that you also help those who are not able to attend today, who are ill or otherwise not able to attend anyway. We thank you again for this day. We pray all these things in your name. Amen.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Please be seated. We have a guest here today, John.
Hey,
My neighbor.
I have another guest.
And we have a second guest,
Frank.
Frank.
Hello,
What boat are you on?
the Abraham Lincoln,
Okay.
SSBM 602.
All right.
Thank you. Almec and Doug. Tom Billy. Now, Will Rogers, best of them all. And thank you. Al Womack, treasurer. I was qualified on the USS Henry M. Jackson, SSBN 729.
Bob Summer, I qualified on the USS Barbell, SS 580.
Richie Geyer, I'm membership chairman, qualified on the George Washington SSB in 598.
Your turn.
He's a guest.
Oh, yes. Wayne Fernandez, I qualified on the USS Grenadier, SS 525 in Key West.
Right.
Dennis Fay, I was born in USS Nathan Hale, 623 Blue.
Jerry Dagnan, USS Sailfish, SS 572.
Gary Bouchard, I qualified on Cutlass. I think I've forgotten the number, 478 I think it was.
Jerry Pollock, qualified USS Henry Clay, SSBN 625.
Bill Strand, USS Barracuda, SSK 1.
Joel Granger, USS Theodore Roosevelt, SSBN 600, big stick.
Sergio Guerra, USS Spinax 489, twice member of the year on this.
Mike Ferranti, USS Sea Dragon, SSN 584.
Rick Knoll, I'm associate member. My fathers were main officers during World War II, USS Trigger.
USS Theodore Roosevelt, SSBN 600 Gold Crew, back in the 70s.
This is a new member of Tang Base
Thank
and
you.
a life member of USS VI.
Thank you.
Ken Bertner, qualified on the USS Rock, SSR 274.
Tom Dolan, SSBN 623. Go. Nathan Allen. No, Nathan Hale. Oh, Dace. Wait a minute. Come
All of the
on.
above.
All of them, all of the above.
Ron Morrison, qualified on the Shark, there's only one vote, SSN 591.
I have one for deletion. We lost Ray Dennis, and he's gonna be missed.
Ray Dennis.
We'll talk more about that in a few minutes. But now I'm gonna total the votes.
Where ships may ride at anchor for a little space. Then some starless night, the cable slips, leaving only Eddie at the mooring place. Gulls bear no longer, sailor rest your oar. No tangled wreckage will be washed ashore. Lord, our departed shipmates with dolphins on their chest, are part of an outfit known as the best. You'll find without a doubt they were the best in all the land. Let them know that we who survive will always keep their memory alive.
SS 70, 62041. SS 132, 61942. SS 89, 61243. USS Runner, SS 275, 62843. USS Herring, SS 233, 6144. USS Gallic, SS 361, 61444. And USS Bonefish, SS 223, 61845.
Ring the bell one more time for our shipmates still on patrol. Ring the bell one more time for our lost shipmate, Ray Dennis. Thank you.
Okay, last call for 50/50 QVC. Anybody that didn't get a chance, last call. Right up here.
Yeah.
Serge, you coming up? Okay, we're gonna continue while Serge is, and Ronnie, right up here.
50/50?
Yeah, and QVC.
They have jumping my ass because I have not getting up, I said I had to get the money.
Is it? They're giving you a hard time? Okay, need a volunteer for lunch for next month? The meeting is going to be on the 17th of July.
Volunteer.
Volunteer? Gary? Thank you very much, Gary, appreciate it. If you have any questions, need any help with it, just let us know.
Don't trust nobody.
What's the order of it? If you want to join that. you
Okay.
Membership. Oh, I already have. Oh, you filled that one in already? Oh, okay, good.
Yeah,
Great.
yeah, Ronnie's the number.
All right, good to go.
For once.
All right, as you know, our shipmate Ray Dennis passed. He passed the evening of the 15th of May, right after the picnic. Ray Dennis was not there that day due to his illness, of course, and he passed away that evening. After a lot of maneuvering around, we have scheduled now a combined celebration of life service to be held right here on July the 10th, Saturday, July the 10th. The service will start about 1100. It'll be combined, so our chaplain, Bill Ogburn, will do Tang Base Submarine Side Celebration Life Service, followed by Scott Hood, the chaplain for Post 104, who will conduct the Celebration Life Service for American Legion. Followed by guests, members, family, friends, to talk about their memories, how they knew Ray, what Ray meant to them, So everyone is encouraged to attend and come. Plan to share your memories. Talk about Ray as you fondly remember him, or maybe not so fondly. The family is well aware of Ray's demeanor. Okay. Once we get through all of that, then the Post is hosting a meal for us for everybody that attends. Initially, we were going to, Tang Base was going to pay for the meal. Post was going to host it, but they had a meeting and their members said no, he was a Legionnaire, and a lot of people fondly remembered him, so they are going to host it, including paying for it. So that worked out. All right, so please try to attend. We're looking for a good turnout from Tang Base. We're expecting a good turnout from the Post. Joel?
Is that going to need a head count?
They would like to get a head count as much as possible, but my experience in trying to get head counts from this bunch is a little more difficult. If you plan to attend, just raise your hand right now.
Say again the time.
1100.
11, okay.
On July 10th?
July 10th, Saturday, July the 10th. The following weekend is the 17th, and that'll be our regularly scheduled meeting, Tang-based meeting on the 17th. Same thing, 1100, lunch at 11:30, and the meeting start at 12. That meeting will be a social meeting. So we'll have our lunch, visit, and then we'll have a brief meeting, and then we'll go into our social visit where we'll sit around. Maybe our commander will have some unique thing for us to do to help break the ice, if you will, for that meeting. But come prepared to have a good time and enjoy. Good opportunity for new members, people who have not been here before, to come share your visit, your memories and experiences with us. There is nothing that I've been able to find with regard to Kenneth City 4th of July parade. There's nothing on the internet, and they're not responding to any emails that I've sent in. So as far as we're concerned, there will be no 4th of July parade at Kenneth City that Tang Base will be involved with. The August meeting is on Saturday, the 21st, again here at Post 104, 1100. I'm going to talk to the Post and see if maybe that might be an opportunity for us to have a combined visit, luncheon. Have them prepare the meal, hot dogs, hamburgers, or whatever, open the doors. After we conduct our meeting, have them come in and this. So if we do that, they will probably bump, instead of having the lunch at 11:30, we'll probably have our meeting start at 11:30 with lunch to follow. That's the thinking right now. Not sure how that'll work out, but if not, then we'll have a regular standard meeting. Well, I keep everybody posted via the newsletter and the thing. Just as an aside, I've scheduled us for Seabreeze Island Bar and Grill on Reddington Shores Beach there for our Christmas luncheon, which will be on the first Saturday of December. More to follow on that. That's all I got for now. Mike?
St. Mary's in the, first week of November, you said? November 1st or 4th through 7th or something?
Yeah, that's right. I just put that out. Yeah, didn't I just put that out on e-blast? Okay, so if you haven't seen it, then think about it. The Kings Bay is having the memorial service this year, annual submarine memorial service in November, right? So, and I think that's before our meeting.
Yeah, so the 4th through the 7th, I believe.
Okay. check that email. If any more information comes out, I'll be sure to pass that along to everybody. And we'll have it in the newsletter.
Yeah, I'll get it in the newsletter when I.
So there's still some time to plan. In November is our meeting where we do two things of great import. One is our annual donations. Not looking for any changes that unless someone comes up with something new that they would like to have considered for donation. If so, then please let us know. Also, that's where we will announce the slate of officers for 22, for next year. We're going to be losing some people who are currently involved, and we'd like to get some people involved in that. So if you're interested in getting in the leadership, come see me or John or Al or any of the current officers, and we'll be happy to do that. Get you lined up. Any questions? That's it for me.
A little more on Dennis. He joined the Navy in 1951. I was 1 year old then. He served on the Henry Hubbard DD 748 from 51 to 52. He volunteered for submarine duty in 52 to 55 and served aboard the USS Sea Lion, SS 315, where he qualified submarines. He was discharged from the Navy in 1955 IC-2 SS. Joined the Tang base in 1997. In the early years of the Tang base, he served as a commander from 1999 to 2003, and the second base commander of the Tang base. Ray was a member of the Holland Club, which all submarine who have served at a minimum of 50 years. Ray was frequently called upon to give the certificates for the Holland Club, the patches, the coins, and the ceremonies of induction. He was a very active member of the Tang base, and we relied on him very much. He was one of our best members. That's all I have for him. Please come. It's important to all of us. Secretary. Secretary.
No, are you going to accept the minutes as published in the newsletter?
Ask for the minutes published in the newsletter to be accepted.
Okay.
And now does the secretary speak?
Secretary, you got anything?
Secretary.
Report. I got enough to report at this time.
Thank you.
I can't hear reporting.
You're welcome.
You hear that? Yeah, I heard that.
Caps for Kids has been on hold for the last year. Caps for Kids has been on hold for the past year because of this COVID. I've contacted two of the hospitals and Shriners, and Shriners says maybe next month we'll be allowed to come back in. But the hospitals right now are still saying no. So the more I'll find out, I'll let you guys know. Membership.
Okay, like Bob said, we're gonna start collecting dues for 2022, 2022. And the dues are $25 for national if you're not a life member, and $15 for the Tang base. And if you wanna get into the life membership, I can talk to you how much that's gonna cost. It goes by your age. And what else do I have?
What does the booster go for? If you go as a booster, what does that money go for?
It goes for the newsletter.
the Tang base. And
Tang
then
base.
national is state.
got their own little.
But the booster
Wait,
goes
this-
to the Tang base mainly.
The freight car.
Yes.
And also I have one longevity certificate to give out today. And if Joel Granger would come forward, please.
All
Joe?
right. Joe.
Okay, these certificates are given out from the national, but through the base. And they start at 5 years, but we do 10. So it's 10 years, Joel is getting a 10-year certificate for membership longevity. Officers and members of the Tang Base, USSVI, Tampa Bay, Florida, wish to recognize Joel L. Granger for this devotion of service to the U.S. Submarine Veterans Incorporated. With this certificate of longevity pin for 10 years, we thank you.
Thank you.
Thanks, Joe.
Well deserved.
Bravo, Zulu.
And that's the end of my report.
Joe, in those 10-plus years, what did you do here at Tang Base?
Ate lunch?
Start naming off the titles you held.
Oh. Vice Commander, Fs for Kids, Chairman, Historian, Chaplain, General Flunky.
Done a great job, my friend. Great job.
He's the ship's cook here.
Yeah, yeah.
Tom, do you have anything for us?
No, sorry?
Cobb.
Thank you.
No, everything's fine.
Librarian.
Not here.
I think Joel has something.
You're filling this story today.
I have a rather long historian report today, and one of my favorite is
The cemetery where my parents are buried, but also to give honor to the many that are buried in that same vicinity. Starts, of course, with Ned Beach, which is some 50 yards from Roy Benson and my mom. But then also, you go very quickly and take a look and find the likes of Arleigh Burke, Admiral Trost, Holloway, and Stockdale. And of course, I don't know if you've seen some of the more recent documentaries on Stockdale, as he was the head in Hanoi, at the Hanoi Hilton, and all that occurred with the secret communications. That story was recently put out again, and it was just interesting to see. I also looked and found submariners, of course. Besides my parents was Admiral Flucky, was also in residence. But then, just a couple days ago, we were over visiting friends in Amelia Island, and my friend is a pilot. We got up in a 172, and he says, "I want to go see a submarine base." I said, "You're not going to fly over it." No, no, no. So we were up and flew off of St. Mary's to take a look back, and it occurred to me to sort of honor that where did all these missiles come from? And it started apart with Admiral Rayburn as the founder, so to speak, of the Polaris program. So you quickly call up Wikipedia for William Rayburn, and you find a tremendous history for a man that took and developed the project as it came through, and it culminated with the USS George Washington, of course, making the first launch right off of the Florida coast, not far from where I had flown. So that was special. I can keep rolling on. I know what Joel's got coming. So I just wanted to complete the loop as I was looking down and says, wow. And I have met Rayburn. I was with my parents who were flying across the country in a DC-7. And in the old 7s, they used to have up in first class that general area you could sit down on and commiserate with everybody. And there was Rayburn holding court with all of us. And just a very kind and interactive person, and certainly with my dad's class out of the academy. So my remembrances. Joel?
There was one other job that I forgot about, and that was doing the Eagle Scout inductions.
Yep.
And I hope that we get to do that some more. I know John has been with us, a couple of them, and so has Bill Osborne, and nothing more deserving. And Rick bringing up Gene Flucky, who was also an Eagle Scout. Unfortunately, he wasn't able to have his honor court until after the war was over. In '47, he qualified for it in 38, but didn't have time to do it until 1947. By that time, he had already won a Congressional Medal of Honor, and he was an aide for Admiral Nimitz. Dropped the bag. I was honored a couple weeks ago to be asked as the Tang base historian for information on Ray Dennis, and I started checking back through this and through some information that Ray had given me. And I found out that Ray was actually the second commander of Tang base. The first commander's name was Doyle Duck Rowell, and he served from '95 to '99 with a vice commander named Joe Lennonfield. And I could not find anything further on Joe or on Doc. But through some of the paperwork that Ray had given me, I found one of the members of Tang base was also the president of the Suncoast chapter World War II veterans, Al Dempster, who was still a member of Tang base when I came here in 2011, and passed away around 2014. He was living up in DC. His family had moved him up there, and he was in an assisted living establishment up there. And I don't know for sure what Al served on. I'll talk about that in a few minutes also. Another member of Tang base, I believe, was Rick Hogan, who was the president of the Brandon chapter of World War II sub-vets. And most of the people who have been here for any time also knew Bob Rydell, who at the time of the memorial service over here on 49th Street for sub-vets, he was a state chaplain, apparently known very well all over the state. Tang base, when it started, had members who served in the 20s, in the 30s, and in the 30s and 40s. Apparently they had a fairly good membership starting out. And later on they inducted, whenever the World War II sub-vets shut down, they inducted people in the Tang base from Suncoast and from Brandon chapter. It was not easy to find all of this, and what I would like to propose is that we do a little form whereby we can put our name on it and our phone number if we would like to have it on it. Fill out a list of the boats that we served on, the dates, for those boats, and a history of what you did while you were here at Tang Base. You know, we've got a number of past commanders, and I could tell you more about what Ray did than most of the commanders that we have. I could also tell you, like Tom Dolan over there, I could tell you a little bit about his past. But some of the past commanders, the vice commanders, etc., got no idea. And I think it would be good for all of us to be able to go to one place and find information on where we served, what we did when we left the service. Maybe, you know, if you want to put some family information in there, that would be up to you. I have talked to Bill about this a little bit, and he's going to send everybody a letter out with this form in it. If you want to fill it out, it would be greatly appreciated. If not, that's appreciated also. I'm going to have him add this to the website. And that's part of my report. Well, the person I would like to talk about today, his name is Robert Dornan. Actually, Robert Edson Dornan, known by friends and shipmates as Dusty. Graduated from the academy in 1935. When the Japanese started bombing Pearl Harbor on December 7th, he was a member of the crew of the USS Gudgeon, who was commanded by Joe Grenfell. And they were doing training off of Lahaina, Maui, at the time of the air raid on Pearl Harbor. Then Captain Grenfell got in touch with the subbase in Pearl Harbor. They told him to submerge where he was at and stay there. There were 2 or 3 other boats that were going to join them at that anchorage. And the longer they stayed under, the safer they would be. At the time of the attack on Pearl Harbor, Lieutenant Dornan was one of the best TDC operators in the fleet. He basically ran the computer like it was the back of his hand. And the Gudgeon was the first submarine that went out on patrol from Pearl Harbor after the attack on Pearl Harbor. She went straight to the to the Japanese islands, and after a 2-month voyage, came back to Pearl, and on the way back she was sent an Ultra. If anyone doesn't know what an Ultra is, it was a result of our listening to Japanese transmissions, radio transmissions, in having a code that we could break it down with. They sent Gudgeon an ultra stating that a Japanese submarine I-173 would be in a certain location at a certain time, and it was right in front of Grenfell and the Gudgeon whenever he got it. And as a result of the work that Dornan did on the TDC, they sank 173, was the first warship the United States sank in World War II, Japanese warship. Lieutenant Dornan spent basically most of the war doing war patrols. He started out with on the Gudgeon. Later on, he was given command of the Trigger. Worked all over the East China Sea and into the Yellow Sea. He sank quite a few vessels, and I'm not going to give you the exact amount, but anyway, while he was the CO of the Trigger, she was awarded Presidential Unit Citation for her 5th, 6th, and 7th patrols while Dornan was in command. He was relieved of command of the Trigger, and Lockwood didn't have orders for him whenever he was relieved, and they, as a result, Lockwood had him set up a course there at Pearl Harbor on operating the TDC. You'll excuse me for sitting down, but
What's the TDC?
Tactical data computers, where you computed the torpedo angle you shoot at.
Like fire control?
That is
Right.
fire control.
Okay.
Right.
Yeah.
I should have made that clearer.
Oh, that's all right.
Anyway, Dornan set this school up and trained the first couple groups of people who went through it. A lot of the boats had people operating the TDC that didn't actually know what they were doing, and this helped the war effort tremendously. In the meantime, orders were coming through for Dornan, who actually made commander and went to Washington as CNO, Admiral King's aide. After the war was over, Dornan was part of the joint Army-Navy Assessment Committee, and after he completed his assignment there, they gave him command of the USS Sea Fox, which was a new boat coming off the waves, SS 402. Went from there to Assistant Director of Athletics at the Academy, Commander of Submarine Division 22, became Chief of Staff, Officer of Submarine Development, and Executive Officer of the U.S. Naval Station at Treasure Island. From there he became Commanding Officer of the Nereus, Squadron 3, Pacific Fleet. Became Commanding Officer of Recruit Training command in San Diego, and then ended up his career as a commanding officer of the USS Los Angeles, which was a heavy cruiser. Dornan retired as a captain. The only thing I can say is I think he must have ticked somebody off to have not at least gone to Rear Admiral, because he was a valued part of the war effort during World War II. Some of the things that are not covered in this was the fact that he did run this TDC school in Pearl Harbor, but also the fact, and this was a connection to Tang, when Tang was sunk in October of '44, Dornan knew O'Kane, knew his wife and family, and while he was waiting for orders in Pearl Harbor, he was privileged to the information that was being sent out in ultras, and the information that was being recovered from the Japanese doing their, Japanese were great on radio and loved to talk on the radio all the time, especially Japanese submarines. But Dornan found out that O'Kane didn't go down with the Tang and was captured. And the 8 or 9 people total that the Japanese captured were alive and in prison camps. And Dornan got in touch with O'Kane's wife. Don't ask me how, but anyway, he got in touch with O'Kane's wife and let her know that her husband was alive. He did a lot of humanitarian stuff while he was in the Navy for people in the submarine service. And that's basically what I have to report today.
Yeah, the TDC was a mechanical computer,
Yes.
which uses gears and servo mechanisms. You put in the angle on the bow and range to the target ship, and your own course and speed was automatically entered into it, and it computed the angle that the torpedo had to go out to hit the target, ahead of the target.
Okay.
And then that was electronically connected to the torpedo room, wasn't it?
No, no. On the TDC complex there, somebody would manually put in the angle the torpedo had to go. And I don't remember it. I don't
How was
think-
it, how was that data transmitted from that box to the torpedo?
It was a standalone piece of equipment that one guy operated, and then, generally speaking, the XO put the parameters into another computer that talked to the fish.
Yeah.
And if anybody knows where they could lay their hands on one, the Underseas Weapons Museum in Seattle would love to have one.
One sitting in New London.
And I'm pretty sure one, they have one in St. Mary.
And death in the family, and he's attending that instead of coming here. Webmaster? Next, commander's report, me. What I'm gonna say is from the heart. I've been sick a little bit. Missed the last meeting, missed the picnic, but I missed you all. I want to say thanks to Bob and the rest of you for doing my job. Thank you.
Address? Yeah.
Any new business?
Any old business?
Sorry.
Okay, any new business? Okay, old business.
Hey, John, just want to say welcome back.
I think you've had more than your share of problems lately, and admire the way you fight and get back, and glad to see you back.
All right, yeah.
We're going to be missing, I guess, the parade coming up with displaying our submarine model. We're paying for that, and we also mentioned, it just occurred to me, that you've got a joint program coming up here with the base here, with the post, that would be appropriate to show off the submarine force to these non-submariners and maybe bring out the model for the parking lot and really hog the whole day, kind of. Just thinking.
Yeah, good point.
I just need a truck to do that.
I got a
Kind of truck.
Tow truck.
John, I want you to know that you've been missed. We want you to be, as Tang-based historian, I want you to be future history, not past history. So you just keep it ticking and keep going.
Yeah.
And, we'll see you next month.
Wayne?
For the good of the order?
No, not yet.
Not yet, okay.
We asked about new business. Any new business? Okay, go to the
Go
order.
to the order.
For those of you who may not be aware, President George W. Bush signed into law that veterans can salute when the national anthem's playing, when the flag passes, the Pledge of Allegiance. You can salute in uniform, out of uniform, covered or uncovered. Veterans can salute. Okay, that's all.
Thank you.
When I drive down the street.
And you said that included the Pledge of Allegiance?
Yes.
Okay.
Where people put their hand on their heart, veterans can salute instead.
Okay.
Covered or uncovered, in or out, or not in uniform.
Our new member there is ready for his,
Vince?
What time we were, you mean any kind of story about whatever happened?
sure,
Hey, you didn't get a release from me, so don't be using it.
It's only going in the newsletter.
I happened to be standing early on in my career, in one of my second patrol, I was standing in helmsman, plainsman, and of course we were at 3 knots to nowhere, and we had to surface, but it was at night, and I was chief of the watch. Somebody said, "You're going up the hatch," and I went up the hatch and opened it up, and water comes in, and I was like, "Oh, geez, a lot of water." And I go up there, and we found out we were only about 6 inches above the water line, because it was at night. They just said, "Oh yeah, we should be up by now." And you pop the hatch, and meanwhile, we're only about 5-6 inches above the water line. And of course, chief of the watch and the diving officer going another couple of seconds of blow, and we all go, we come popping up. So I got wet pretty good, you know.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, that kind of stuff happens, you know how it is. Is that a good enough sea story for the first one out?
Hey, all right.
Thank you, gentlemen. I'm an honor. It's an honor to be a member of this organization.
Say your name again,
Welcome
please.
aboard.
Vincent Sanfilippo.
Okay.
Like St. Philip, but I'm no
Say that
saint.
3 times?
I could say that lots of times. I've been saying it most of my life. It's even on they even spelled it correctly on my uniform way back when.
All right.
Question for Vincent.
Yes, sir.
Did you ever put out floating cable on
Of course.
Roosevelt?
Yeah, sure.
You got just as wet, didn't you?
Yeah. Lots of times. Things.
Yeah.
That was an old submarine when I was there in the 70s.
It wasn't that old when I was there.
No, it was a kind of new, shiny new thing, wasn't it?
Which boat? Roosevelt.
Roosevelt.
Roosevelt, yeah. Okay.
I don't know if any of the other subs had the guys on the drink. We go to Liberty, some of the guys drink a little too much. So we were over in Holy Lot, Scotland, and this one guy's on our boat. He's one of the bigger guys in the boat. You really look at him, you wouldn't think submarines, because he's about 6'3" and pretty good size. And he came back, and he was being carried by a couple guys, because he couldn't come down the steps from the tender. And he got on board. We're trying to figure out how to pour him into the sub in 21-inch hatch, because he looked like a 21-inch hatch. He was completely useless. So I had the topside watching the time when they were coming down. So I said, we'll just tie a rope around him and lower him down. So I tied a rope around under his armpits. But when you start lowering the dead weight down, the arms start going like this. So this rope's going up tighter and tighter. And the next day when he did get down, by the way, unscathed, well, not unscathed, but not badly injured. And the next day, he's complaining because he could remember none of this, and he had a red rash here all the way up the inside of his arm.
Oh, man.
And so that was interesting. I always had fun thinking about
Did
that.
you give him a moral of that story? Give him that?
But he never found out, I don't think, as far as I know, what happened. We were all laughing, looking at each other and laughing. And
What boat?
the Abraham Lincoln,
I gave
602.
You should have told him that he was.
QVC 50/50. QVC at 50/50. 50/50 winner gets 36, 25, 30, 36.
I better get my, nah, I'm not gonna do this.
Hey,
Other fine gentlemen.
We're gonna have you're a guest, right? You wanna
I'm not gonna have you do it.
pick one for us, please?
I gotta grab my tickets, they're out in the car. I put my bag.
The white one?
So somebody else gotta say no there.
Okay, the winning number is, last four, 6, 7, 1, 4.
6714, 678. Nope.
Do they have to be in the right order?
Yeah, 671 followed by 4.
I'm almost embarrassed to tell you this, but guess who's got it?
It's you. I was gonna say, it's gotta be you.
There you go.
6714.
So it wasn't even backwards, right?
You got it? You wouldn't believe how many times I've.
This is about,
It's all right, it's all right. There's some
you
people
get it
have
3
karma.
times in a row.
It's karma. It's karma.
All
Trust me.
right, hold on.
Had to consider him as ESG.
Flag.
Give me your one. Give me your one. Oh, thank you. You donated most of it back.
I got you.
Gotta keep his lucky dollar.
You don't get in, you gotta.
No time?
At least he didn't pick his own number this time. Yeah.
So you get to pick the
More than one.
QVC, red one.
Yeah, okay. Don't, see if I, somebody else got it.
I told him, sorry, but I don't remember.
The number is 5, 5, 5, 5.
No shit.
No shit. 5, 5, 5, 5.
That's the USS Dolphin, 555, bingo.
There you go.
Hey.
Congratulations.
All right, you get to pick.
About time. Draw another number. I don't need any of this stuff. Draw another number. Okay, another number. All right. Okay, the number is
5, 5, 5, 5.
5550.
That's the red ticket.
I didn't you. I was
0.
555.
Nobody comes up without going to look at the one I have. I'll be right back.
Well, I may have it.
0. Somebody said they had 0.
Oh, no, it wasn't me.
Now I got it.
Hey, he got it. 5550.
You want to read about 5, 5?
Take your trip.
I was heading that way.
That's valid.
That's valid. Nah, whatever. I don't even want What's still about? Hey, now I know I'll feel good.
Hey, Wayne.
Yeah.
I sent you the paperwork.
I got him, I sent you back. I said thank you.
Thank you, sir.
You're good looking.
Chaplain? Chaplain?
We ask that you keep us each safe as we head for our homes. We pray all these things in your name. Amen.
Amen.
May have got a new member. He was on the book, he couldn't come today because he's on his honeymoon.